Flashback Friday, April 1st, Michael Wilbon on Part of the Interruption said this.
What I didn't tell you, and I'm here to tell you now on national television, is I have entered the transfer portal. And I'm hoping to go and join Mike Greenberg for a powerful Northwestern power tandem at Get Up. So I have entered the transfer portal, and I've applied for NIL funds.
We love it. How about that? The Northwestern power couple.
NIL money.
I was going to say, Greeny,
we're not.
There's NIL involved there? I didn't know this.
We got to get Jacob working on that. I mean, your NIL check is going to be pretty significant.
He's also in uniform.
Too many days, Alan.
Disgusted with myself that I don't have the purple on today, but we are delighted to be together, reunited, and it feels so good. Meanwhile, let's go back to the NBA and the stunning start to the Knicks and Celtics series. By now, you're well aware, New York is up 2-0. Before the series began, ESPN Bet Sportsbook had the Celtics a -900 favorite to win this series. Those odds would imply they had a 90% chance to win the series. The odds are now even at -110 apiece. The Celtics just can't throw the ball in the ocean. They are 25 of 100 on threes. The 75 missed threes, the most in a two-game span in playoff history, and Jason Tatum is shooting just 29% in the series. He's 0 for 7 from three-point range in the fourth quarters. Here was Tatum yesterday on his struggles.
I take full ownership on the way that I've played in this series. And, you know, can't sugarcoat anything. I need to be better. We have a way that we play. We have an identity. It can't waver just because we missing shots. We can't change who we are. It's not about our season being 2 games from over. Like, that hasn't crossed any of our minds.
So you reacted to something he said there. What was it?
We have a way we play. That's the arrogance I'm talking about. And by the way, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying, okay, but you got to live with that too. That's why, to me, it's not on just Jason Tatum. It's on the whole thing. They're like a cult when it comes to how we play. And we're not going to change it no matter what. We're not going to pay attention to the results. We're not going to play the game that is available tonight. We're not doing that. We're going to do what we do. There's a defiance that I also associate with an arrogance. And by the way, what great champion is not arrogant?
Right.
But is it going to cost them? Is it going to throw them out of the playoffs? I just love this because it flies in the face of all the analytics people. And I love it. Oh, a 2-point shot. Why would we want that? It's a 3 or nothing. So I am just reveling in this, that they would pass up anything else to do what they do.
So Joe Mazzulla says yesterday, we got more points off turnovers. We're getting more shots. We got more offensive rebounds. We're getting more layups. He's like going over. He's like, we're winning every phase of the game except putting the ball in the basket. Is essentially what he didn't say those words. That's essentially what he's saying, and that's what's driving the Celtics crazy. They're like, we're holding Jalen Brunson to 30% shooting. We're holding Mikal Bridges to under 30% shooting. Like, they are saying we are accomplishing everything but the ball going in the basket, and the Knicks are like, all right, stop going to the basket, and we're taking advantage.
Yeah,
so
but there feels like there's more to it because, yeah, the arrogance, I think, goes beyond the one-trick pony-ish feel of the threes and nothing, right?
I'm with you.
It goes to fouling Mitchell Robinson. Like, why? Like, what? He's Bill Russell all of a sudden? Like, it's Mitchell Robinson. Like, you don't have to go that crazy. We got to get this guy off the floor. Like, and also them seeking out matchups in their offense, especially later in the game. Finding Brunson, let's get him on an island. Let's get Towns on an island. I think it messes with the rhythm of their offense, and it takes them out of it a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, it's like a scramble mode because the Knicks are switching very well. They're well aware of that they're hunting certain matchups, and I do think it slows down their offense a little bit. There's some arrogance in how they're playing. What did Mazzulla call it? It was a killer whale or whatever that is that he references, where they're looking for, like in the NFL, they look for the fish, the bad offensive linemen, and they all want to go up against them. It's the same kind of attitude.
So let me ask you, if we can here, the counter argument to this is what they do. It works. They are very unlikely to have 4 games out of 7 in which they shoot the ball that badly. And if the ball starts going in, they win both of these games easily. If you're them, is that a reasonable way to approach this?
If you want to tie the result to analytics, which is what they did, Brian brilliantly broke down all of it. And you know what all of it is? It's all numbers. The game is right here. Play it. They can't do it. Worse than that, they don't want to do it.
Right.
You can hunt matchups. You can. You should. That's old school basketball too. But when you're Jalen Brown, when you're Brown and Tatum, you diagnose what is happening here and now. You don't need an iPad or an assistant coach in your ear to have those guys have instincts, man. They do. And I've gotten to know Jalen a little better, than Tatum, but you can't play the game that's here. The two of you can't work some of this out on the floor. How about all the clips you see in documentaries and Last Dance, all these things on Jordan and Kerr talking and Jordan and Pippen talking about what I'm going to do right now. He's going to come here. I'm going to get the.
You know what was instinct?
What are we talking about?
You know what was instinct? Tatum's dunk off the down the hill. Instinct.
It opened
dunk.
up. He did it.
Right.
So where's more of that? Not the dunk. I know exactly what you're talking about. I think I do, Alan.
The second to last.
Where's the reaction? Basketball's a reactive sport. And it's not just about analytics, although the analytics people, sadly, have taken it over.
This is the dunk you're talking about.
And by the way, it's great when the Knicks talk about what happens the next play and it's not available.
Right.
Because Mitchell Robinson, they push up, they get higher to the arc. They're not going to let that happen. That was instinctive. The Knicks played it that way, not, this is what we do. I don't care what you do.
Mitchell
Win
Robinson,
the game.
Timeout. OG was saying to me after the game that Mitch just knew how to play it. Knew how to play it better.
And then going back to the instinct part, when you watch that second play, Tatum, and he admits it yesterday, he admits it that I went into traffic. I went to the wrong place. But you could see that there's plenty of time on the clock, and he starts to dribble to his left, which is not his strong side. And at that point, you have two choices. One, as a player, take a minute instead of force it. Right there. Take a minute.
He's going into another defender.
Right into the torture chamber. And the other one is, how about Missoula call the timeout there? Okay, that's not working. All right, let's get a reset here. Two things, they both froze.
I wasn't as offended by not calling timeout. I agree with you. You call it as it doesn't develop.
Right. Once they blew it up, that's when you bang the timeout.
So my question about tomorrow, which is just one of the most intriguing games to me of the last 10 years. They're going to be any different? Are they going to go outside the cult tomorrow?
No.
Do they know how? Will they do? The shots can fall. They can win this game and they can win this series. But what are they going to do when just confronted with an event? A sporting event. What's the Mike Tyson line?
Yeah.
Everybody's got a plan until they get hit in the mouth.
Yeah,
all right.
But they see themselves as the one who throw the punch, and their road record in the playoffs and in the regular season is impeccable. They have an incredible history of this system working and it working on the road.
Stephen A. started First Take yesterday after the Knicks' big win in Game 2. If you didn't, enjoy.
I love everybody. You see the orange and blue skies. You see the orange and blue skies. Two down. Two to go, baby. Two to go, baby. Go New York. Go New York. Go. First Takes in the house. Holla at your boy. Whoa. Let's go.
He paid the price for it too. His voice was cooked for the first hour. I'm not even telling you.
The big news is here for those of us who are Law and Order fans, which is now well over 30 years.
Yeah.
Stephen A. was on Law and Order last night as himself and was murdered. This is just the greatest thing. I can't wait to see him because I'm a Law and Order fanatic. Law and Order, SVU, all the Law and Order Big Wolf things.
Did a Knicks fan do it?
Did the jury acquit?
Can I? Spoiler alert. For those of you planning on watching that today, I guess Stephen A. dies in this one.
Yeah. Catches it.
Will not be a recurring character.
If it was Friends, it would be the one where Stephen A. dies. Okay, where are we? All right, back to sound off. Oh, Fortenbaugh is here too, by the way.
See everyone. I should have touched that jacket.
Was your jacket a pool table at one time? I mean, what are we doing here?
It's Friday. It's the big table. It's my first time working with Wilbon. Of course I was going to show up. By the way, Stephen A., shockingly, already angling for a return appearance. I don't know how you do that after you've been killed. We'll see.
As his own evil twin. Okay, this series is far from over, he said. Knicks and Celtics, Game 3 tomorrow at MSG. Super Bowl ticket prices to get in. Shaquille O'Neal, of course, has played in a lot of big games. He says Game 3 is a must-win for the Knicks.
We're up 2 now for the Knicks. Don't get comfortable. It's a must-win for Boston, but it's also a must-win for Knicks. If you want to put serious pressure on the champs, Game 3 is a must for the Knicks.
Michael Wilbon, is Game 3 a must-win for the Knicks?
To Shaq's point, I think the winner of Game 3 wins the series.
I completely agree.
I believe that. And momentum is so crazy with this. We're talking about the Celtics and whether or not they can find this, whether or not the cultish team can find its shot. We know that you can find it. Can they find it in Madison Square Garden? And if they do, if it's 2-1 and they're looking at a one-game Monday night situation to get home court back in the series, then it's doable. But I think the winner of Game 3 wins it.
I disagree with the two legends there. I don't think it's a must-win for them. They're up 2 breaks. But I would say this to anybody who thinks that the Celtics are just going to rattle off 4 in a row here. The Knicks haven't played well yet. They have done some incredible situational basketball plays. Jalen Brunson has not had a big statement on this series. He's been great in clutch time. You know he's got a 40-point game in there. And that could happen tomorrow. If he gets hot tomorrow and puts up 40, they get up 3-0, the series is over.
Wendy, that's why I said I don't believe that they're going to rattle off 4 straight. The Celtics the first thing they got to do is
there's a lot of people who believe that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that. You know the problem with the Celtics? I said the one thing I still have right. I got 2 things right. Should have bet on these things in the beginning. 1, the Celtics aren't going to win again. The league is too good. 2, had Oklahoma City winning. We'll see about that. But the Celtics last year played a series. They started with Miami with no Jimmy Butler. Right. Series. They get to Cleveland. They got Jarrett is out for the whole series, and Donovan Mitchell misses 2 games. They get to Indiana. Turner's out for a bit, right? And Halliburton misses the last 2 games.
Jalen Brown hits a miracle shot in game 1.
And then they get to Luka's limping around and can't move by the time they get to Dallas. Are any of these things the Celtics' fault? No. Are the Celtics worthy champions? Yes.
They also went 16-3.
Okay, but I don't care about the 16-3. They went 16-3 against teams that had nothing. The Knicks are a fully engaged, physically healthy, that we know, team now. All right? So are you good enough to win in this NBA without everybody in sick bay? That's what I don't think.
You know, it's a crazy trend in the NBA. Like you mentioned, they're not going to win another one, right? Since 2019, the defending champ has not reached past the second round of the next year, the following year. And so does that hold up again? Because it's setting up for another one since 2019. But if Jalen Brunson goes for 40 in Game 3, there'll be a statue before Game 4.
That's correct.
Because this is at Madison Square Garden. This is probably the biggest game, and we already know how much tickets are going for.
Let's show that, by the way. C36, the get-in price right now at Vivid Seats is $611. If you really want to splurge.
That's the cheapest, I'm buying that.
The most expensive ticket is over $27,000. It is being compared. The secondary ticket market people are comparing this game to Super Bowl ticket pricing. Go ahead.
And so that tells you just where this is significantly when it comes to basketball at Madison Square Garden, which the last 3 years it's been a lot better, but we all know in this century it has not been great. This is the game of the century right now at Madison Square Garden when it comes to Knicks basketball since '99.
The Cavs are limping in to Indy tonight. Indy could win that series very, very well. If the Knicks get 2 more wins here and Indy beats Cleveland, the Knicks would have home court. In the conference finals. So this is, what's on the edge of the knife here is pretty amazing.
Let me get Fortenbaugh in here. From
the jacket, let's go.
I like the jacket notwithstanding. From a gambling perspective, as you look at this series right now, what are the people who know what they're talking about thinking?
Starting with the players and then working your way through. Karl Anthony Towns had a sensational game number 2, right? He's 56% from the floor. He hits 21 points. You'd want to go the other way on that in Game 3. Towns is a historical zigzagger throughout the course of the playoffs because he's been inconsistent. Player prop is 19.5 points. You go under for 3 key reasons. 1, this series has been played at a very slow pace. That limits the overall opportunities. Number 2, he continues to get into foul trouble, which limits his overall opportunities. And then number 3, when it comes to the Celtics, despite the poor shooting, still have a really good defense.
Total
Combine the points and rebounds. He's been getting close to that, despite the fact that as a 45% shooter, he's only shooting 28% in the series. He's cleaning up on the glass. At some point, when the shots fall, that number goes flying over.
Always rebounds.
Yes.
The bigger the game, the better he rebounds. He may not make the shots, he always rebounds.
It's sitting 9.5, and he's had 14 plus in each of the first 2 games. You can continue to bet that over.
We've been kicking around, Alan and I and some others. This is the biggest basketball game at Madison Square Garden since what? I think the answer is it's the most important basketball game in the Garden since the turn of the century. I think you have to go back to the '99 finals.
Yep. Game
With the magnitude of what winning this series would be.
A game.
He got to the second.
As big as this.
The Indiana series.
The Indiana series, but the first game of that series they lost because they batted the bunny against the Celtics in the first round. They should have been the favorite in that series. Once they lost that game and Tyson Chandler was injured, that had like a feel of they should advance and they wanted to play the Heat, but not like this. This feels different.
So this series now has even odds. It started out minus 900. Bear in mind, that's the Vegas telling you that the Celtics had a 90% chance of winning. It's now basically even. How does a smart person bet this?
I think it's the Celtics. It's even. It's minus 110. You risk 110 to win $100 is essentially what that means. 89 games Boston has played this year. Games 1 and 2 of this series have been their worst and second worst shooting efforts, and they lost by 3 in overtime and by 1. We don't need a great shooting effort. What if you have an average shooting night? This is a team over the last 2 years, 61 road wins, most in the NBA. I think they get game 3, like you guys were talking about, and then it flips the series.
They haven't lost 3 in a row since they lost 3 in a row to the Heat 2 years ago in the playoffs.
I understand that the Knicks fans are very frustrated that people are not like giving them enormous credit and saying they're the greatest thing we've ever seen. All of the indicators on the dashboard say that the Celtics are going to flip this, and the Celtics believe they're going to flip it. If the Knicks can push back against that, it's truly a historically great.
If there was one game this year where I just said, I know the result going in. I know the result going in involving 2 real teams. It was 2 nights ago. There's no chance the Celtics are going to lose this game 2 at home. None. They lost it. And they lost it the same way. They had a preview. They were handed a script, and they couldn't rewrite it during the game. So you know what? This is the greatest thing about sports. None of this stuff means anything. And if Jalen Brunson gets hot, I root for Jalen Brunson being a Chicago kid. I really root for him.
Mm-hmm.
But the people walking around town, New York, the last few days, people ask, is Jalen Brunson the greatest Knick ever? I'm like,
let's slow down.
Are you alive?
Right.
Have you heard of Walt Frazier? You can see him. Do you know that people actually in Knicks uniforms won championships? Do you even know somebody who played in one? Patrick Ewing? Are you alive? Are you awake? And so I'm convinced now, Greeny, with children, I can say this, child. Nobody in the last 2 generations has any idea what happened before 7:55 Eastern.
Well, that's probably right. Jalen Brunson.
I love Jalen.
And Jalen would agree with you.
I'm on fire. It's NBA,